Hey, welcome to the Stadium Scene TV's main event. This is 10 Minutes With, where we're going to feature our partners across the Stadium Scene.tv network and do a quick 10-minute chat with them to talk about what they do, how they got to where they are today, and share some of their wisdom. So our first guest today is a longtime friend of the show. You've heard him on our original podcast before. Please welcome Ralph Schudel.
Oh, thanks. Oh man, the studio audience is really lively today.
Oh wait. Oh crap. Wake up, studio audience.
Oh, are they sleeping right? They're in quarantine too.
There we go.
There they are. Oh, hello everyone. Hello.
The remote virtual studio audience.
We're in the bunker today. We forgot to tell everybody we're live in the bunker right now.
Yes. I mean, at least I can see that it's sunny outside above my head, but it doesn't really matter beyond that because we're still stuck in quarantine for who knows how long, and we're trying to make the best of this. So anyway, yes. I forgot to start the timer. Awesome.
We're off to a great start.
The first episode of 10 Minutes With, maybe 12 minutes or 7, or I don't know. Who knows?
Plus or minus.
Anyway, so Ralph, tell us about what you do in the sports publication world.
Oh gosh, I'm a jack of all trades. I would say some would tell you a master of none. But I'm a freelance writer and photographer with many different assignments. You'll see me on the SB Nation blog Massive Report, which covers Columbus Crew SC. I also work for a company called International Soccer Network, where I am stationed with the United States women's national team from time to time. And I work for a website here in Columbus, Ohio called Columbus Wired, which handles a lot of the sporting events that happen within Central Ohio, namely Ohio State athletics. So that's really fun. And I am also a sports information intern and a brand manager. Firstly, the sports information intern for the whole University of Ohio Dominican University here in Columbus, which is an NCAA-sanctioned Division II academic institution. And I am the brand manager for the Ohio Dominican women's soccer team, which competes at the Division II level in the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, otherwise known as the GMAC.
When you first got started at Ohio Dominican and said ODU, I'm like, wait, Old Dominion's in Ohio? And then I realized, oh, okay, apparently there are other schools that have the ODU initials.
Yes. Yeah, what are they? They're even, the Monarchs?
I don't know. I also know it's a trucking company.
It really is.
But as far as I know, they have no affiliation with the school.
No, they do not. But for some reason, I always think of the trucking company, and then I think of Cracker Barrel. But I'm not too sure why I think those two are synonymous. But for anybody out there that has been exposed to Cracker Barrel or ever has had Cracker Barrel, it's a fantastic breakfast.
It is. Yes, I will vouch for that. But not the Cracker Barrel cheese that you find in the grocery store, which actually has nothing to do with Cracker Barrel, the restaurants.
No, it was very much, let's see what we can slap our logo on and sell it as Cracker Barrel.
Although I've heard before, this is going all the way off topic already, and we're allegedly 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, plus a minute or two. But I heard allegedly that the Cracker Barrel restaurant actually pays, I think it's Kraft, for the license to use Cracker Barrel, because apparently the Cracker Barrel cheese had the license first, which blows my mind, because I think Cracker Barrel, I think of the restaurant, not the cheese you buy in the grocery store. But hey, you know what? That's the law for you.
To each their own, I suppose.
I could be making that up too, but yeah, this is the internet. So this is the internet. Anything goes nowadays. So it doesn't really matter.
It's not like we're journalists or we have to tell the truth now.
As long as you say allegedly, in my opinion, it covers yourself.
I agree.
Anyway, back to the topic. So you've covered both professional and college teams. What's the biggest difference between covering a professional team versus a college team?
I think when you come out into the professional arena, a lot of folks are conditioned to have that mindset of like a warrior mentality, right? So I've had the privilege of talking to Julie Ertz, players like her, Carly Lloyd. If we talk a little bit more on like a major league level, if we go to the NHL, I've talked to a player like, what's his name? Artemi Panarin. Sorry, I was having a brain fart there. You have these players that have warrior mentalities, right? So they come in and they're just bred for competition. You can see that every day. I mean, let's go back to Ertz for a second. You look at her, she's just a wrecking ball. If you've ever watched the United States women's national team, she's just like this blonde streak that you see out of nowhere come out with like this crunching tackle or this crazy header. And that's just Julie all the time. Julie's just locked in all the time whenever she's working out and doing, training or, playing in a game. And when you see this in the collegiate level, I'm privileged enough to work at an institution that kind of puts, your classwork in the classroom a little bit of ahead of athletics, but that's not to be an indictment of the players on the field, because the players on the field have that killer instinct as well. So you see that starting to develop, and that's really cool because you see them kind of get those aha moments on the pitch, right? And they're just kind of like, oh, I should do that. And then they see it, and then they do it the next game, and you see that something is stuck. And you can kind of start seeing that kind of warrior mentality in them each game, and that's really, really neat to see. And I think too, DJ, to that point, even going up into like collegiate athletics, going from Division II to Division I. Division I, we know, coming as a Purdue guy, myself as an Ohio State guy, we have really strong academic institutions, but let's not kid ourselves. These schools out there can crank out professional athletes from time,
Yeah.
a time or two. So those guys,
despite the mediocre football records over the last, ever.
but even if we go back to like a Drew Brees or somebody like that, they're just wired differently.
Yeah, for sure.
And even now, if you look at Brees, he just got a crazy contract he's the north side of 40 now.
Yeah.
And he's got a crazy contract for his age, and he's still going to be playing at a high level for the Saints. So I think it's really cool to see that with the pro game, and to listen to how seriously they apply their craft, and then to go back to the college game and listen to how folks want to get to that point.
So you've covered professional sports. You've been in the locker room, in the press room for those post-game pressers you see where the coach doesn't want to give you answers, or in the classic NHL sense. How's so-and-so feeling? Oh, we're going to call it upper body injury day to day.
Sure.
What's that feeling like going in there? You see it on TV growing up as a kid, and then finally one day you walked into that room and you're one of those reporters sitting there asking the questions. Like, what was that like for you the first time?
I'll tell you, it was kind of a weird sense. You had to pinch yourself because you sat back, and I remember this vividly. My first big real event was the 2017 Ohio State spring game, and everybody in Columbus, and maybe, I don't know if this is the case, I know Ohio State's very polarizing across the nation, but I saw Urban Meyer walk 2 feet in front of me, and I sat there and I go, holy crap, that's Urban Meyer. Like, oh my God, he's right there, and you start thinking about random things, like, or maybe it's just me, but I start thinking, man, I wonder how much like his shorts cost, or like, this guy's got millions of dollars. So you sit back and you go, man, I wonder what he blows it on. But then, I never really had the chance to ask Urban a question, because Urban is Urban, and they're going to defer to older reporters and people who have been on the beat a lot longer than I have. So it was kind of interesting to kind of see how people navigated talking with him. These guys come in with a very quick, a PR strategy. They talk to their press advisors or their comms advisors, and, they say, we're not going to reveal too much information on what's going on here. We'll give the guys a little bit of a sample to keep them interested. But I think the coach I had the best rapport with is United States men's national team now, Greg Berhalter. Berhalter is a great guy to talk to. Even if you make the effort, I would tell folks out there, people particularly kind of aspiring to be in this position, is if you make the effort to show that you care and you treat these folks with respect, at the end of the day, they're just humans just like you. They have a job to do. And, the tendency is that some folks, and fans give this to me on Twitter all the time, why didn't you ask so-and-so why we sucked? And it's like, well, you're not going to go up to the coach and say, hey, we really were bad, because guess what? I'm not going to be there next week asking these questions if I'm doing that. So you have to go, hey, let's give an example to Berhalter. Greg, the crew didn't play exactly too well. You maybe didn't execute as well as you wanted to with this certain game plan. What's the plan for going forward, or something like that? You have to kind of dress it up a little bit.
He's not going to go, well, we planned on losing today. I planned on getting the game plan wrong. We thought, they go in there obviously thinking what they are planning is going to work. And you know what? Sometimes it just doesn't. They get it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Not executed. You name it.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of one of the things. I think the first question I ever asked, and now it's funny to think about it in retrospect because I've never really said it anywhere before. I asked Joe Burrow a question during the spring game when he was still at Ohio State, and I was very wordy, and I was incredibly wordy to the point that I went back on the tape. I still have it. That it was just so cringy, and it's like, dude, shut up, like stop
But
talking.
at least, but he was Joe Burrow that nobody knew who he was at that time, outside of a small group of recruiters in Ohio State. He's not Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner, first pick in the draft, most likely. So you're good.
But still, if you don't know when to shut up, you're gonna get in front of a John Tortorella or a somebody and say something incredibly stupid, and then they're just gonna look at you and they're gonna go, I know we're on the 10 minutes thing, but John Tortorella actually last season, or it might have been this season now because quarantine's got my head all screwed up. One of the reporters forgot to put their phone on silent, and he actually answered the phone, and it was the reporter's mom.
Right. Oh, that's
so,
right. Yeah.
You pray that that's never you. And, thankfully it wasn't me. It was one of the senior guys who'd been on the beat for a while. So he was giving him a little bit of shtick, but you pray to God
even
that's not you.
Even the senior guys screw up. So as we're approaching our 10 minutes, actually, I think we're past it, whatever. Final question. If today you could give one piece of advice to you on day one of your sports publishing journalism journey, what piece of advice would that be?
Never listen to Jillian. I'm just kidding. I love you, Jillian. No, a fun story was that she got me into this. She's kind of created me a little bit. It was her inspiration after meeting her in Columbus that kind of got this journey started. So, I owe her a ton. And serious, I'm just kidding. I hope she listens to this, and I know I'm probably going to get a real snarky text message when I get this. But no, a serious note, if I can shift gears, is if you go into it like a sponge and you're just willing to absorb all this massive amount of data that's around you and all these inputs from people who have been there longer than you, who know how to navigate the land better than you, and you do that and you apply it and you see what works, and not everything's going to work for you, but when you find something that does work for you, apply it, make friends with everybody, network, because you never know if one day, I'm seeing it today, some of my friends who work for media companies are laid off right now because there's no sports. There's nothing to write about. So they've got to go talk to another publishing company and say, hey, I want to go write about civics, or I want to go write about, hospital response to, COVID-19. I hate to bring that dark subject into this, but, you want to network. But at the same token, too, if we're going back on the positive side of things, if you need to get in contact with a player, if you need to get in contact with somebody who's a heavy hitter in the industry, chances are everybody's got a pretty big Rolodex and everybody knows who to talk to. You're usually probably about 2 phone calls away from getting in front of who you need to talk to usually. So it's always nice. Don't, we're all here to have fun. It's a job. Don't take yourself too seriously, but learn and don't come in, with a sense of entitlement, I guess would be the best way I would tell you.
Absolutely valid advice. All right, let's wrap up here real quick. Plug yourself, plug your work.
Ooh, plug. Yeah, you guys can find me. As we said, I am on the SB Nation blog Massive Report. That's massivereport.com. It's a cool little logo with a little hard hat on it. Columbus Wired, if you're interested, nationwide audience, if you're interested in the happenings of Central Ohio athletics, and Ohio Dominican University. So if, you want to check out the Panther lifestyle and what life's like at Division II athletics, visit ohiodominicanpanthers.edu.
And social media.
Yeah, you can find me at Schudel. That's SCHUDEL. Hopefully DJ puts that in the description. Underscore Ralph. And that's at Twitter and Instagram. So you can find me in both areas there. And DJ, thanks for having me and not kicking me off the platform, man.
Anytime. Always glad to have you come on and talk for a while. So wrapping this up real quick. This has been 10 Minutes with Ralph Schudel. Visit us at stadiumscene.tv. Check out our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest at Stadium Scene, Instagram at Stadium_Scene. Don't touch your face, even though I did during this episode. Wash your hands, stay at home, be safe.
Get your hand sanitizer, kids.
That's right. We want to see you around. So be safe, everybody. We'll take care and we'll talk to you later.